Hello and welcome to News at 10 on TV3 and 3FM 92.7. We're live from the News Hub here in Accra. We're also streaming live on our Facebook page and on 3news.com. And you can also watch us on your DSTV channel 279. Let's now take a look at the summary of the major news items for the day. The Millennium Development Authority, MEDA, and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, have signed an agreement which paves way for MEDA to release funds for NEDCO's 4 key projects. The projects, valued at $66 million under the NEDCO Financial and Operational Turnout Project, are part of 6 projects that make up the Ghana Power Compact 2 program. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Hajia Halima Mahama, has charged the municipal chief executives to adopt a comprehensive strategy to improve revenue mobilization for development. She was speaking at the inauguration of the Krowo Municipal Assembly at Nungwa in the Greater Accra region. The Consumer Protection Agency has tasked government to facilitate the passage of the Consumer Protection Bill. The Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Kofi Kapito, made the observation at an event to commemorate World Consumer Rights Day in Accra. In business, the government of Ghana and the African Development Fund, ADF, have signed a loan agreement of $39 million to support government's flagship program, Planting for Food and Jobs. The loan is a concessionary facility to finance the Savannah Zone Agricultural Productivity Improvement Project. The 5-year project to be implemented for 2018 to 2022 is expected to enhance the creation and strengthening of agribusiness to increase incomes of actors along a selected value chain to benefit about 50,000 economically active farmers in the Savannah Zone. And elsewhere, the United States government has imposed sanctions on 19 Russians, accusing them of interference in the 2016 U.S. elections and alleged cyber attacks. They include 13 individuals charged last month by Justice Department Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Those were our major news highlights. Remember, you can hear us on 3FM 92.7 and we're streaming live on Facebook and on 3news.com. Up next is a big one. Right, let's start now. The Lands and Natural Resource Ministry has extended the ban on all forms of small-scale mining for the 3rd time. In January last year, government placed an initial ban for a period of 6 months following the widespread devastation of water resources and forest reserves as a result of illegal mining. The ban was, however, extended in October 2017 for another 3 months, which ended in January 2018. But speaking at an award ceremony by the Bureau of Research, Governance, Commerce and Administration, the Lands and Natural Resource Minister, John Peter Amewu, explained that his outfit had to extend the ban again after small-scale miners failed to meet the target set for them to have it renewed. The minister indicated that his outfit will maintain the moratorium on all activities of small-scale mining until it was convinced that illegal mining, otherwise known as galamsey, had been completely eradicated. The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, whose members have been largely affected, had warned of dire consequences should the ban be extended again. The association urged the ministry to lift the ban and rather ensure strict enforcement of the country's mining laws. Right, we're trying to raise onto the telephone Dr. Eric Chum so we can continue the discussion on the extension of the ban on small-scale mining activities. So while we raise him on the line or on Skype, let's move on to other stories. Traders and artisans operating near President Akufo-Addo's private residence at Nima in Accra were giving up to the close of today, Thursday, March 15, to relocate or risk being evicted by national security operatives. Majority of those affected had complied with the directive at the time of our visit, but some had concerns over the compensation package. Right, we're having some technical challenges there. So traders and artisans who are operating near the president's private residence in Accra were giving up to the close of today, Thursday, March 15, to relocate or risk being evicted by a national security operative. Majority of those who are affected have complied with the directive at the time of our visit, but some had concerns over the compensation package. We're bringing you the full story pretty shortly, but let's move on to some other stories while we work the telephone lines to bring Dr. Eric Chum so we can continue with our discussion on small-scale mining activities. Right, so let's hear about some of the concerns that are being raised by artisans and other squatters around the private residence of President Akufo-Addo.
Some shop owners and traders said they have lived on this piece of land for more than 30 years. Owing to the security threat, the National Security on Friday, March 9, ordered the traders to relocate by March 15. By 6 a.m. on Thursday, majority of shop owners and traders had packed their wares. Government said the compensation package had been paid to the traders from the president's own resources to enable them set up elsewhere. But the traders maintain the amount given them does not reflect their investments.
Oh, my sister.
This is where I sleep and do everything. I have started packing my fridge and the things I sell. I can't tell you the exact amount.
Penny for oya no ah. No omuje asase ne sika. Nti bebia ye de form so. Na omuye.
We have leaders here who went for the compensation package on our behalf, but they slashed the amount. The money is peanuts. They cheated us.
Oh,
I am working on a furniture, but all the same I am moving today. Yes, I was compensated this morning, but I can't tell you how much. It's nothing, but we will manage.
Meanwhile, a section of the public have criticized the president for his continuous stay at his Nima residence when the state has a presidential palace to accommodate every sitting president.
Right, so let's go back to our leading story where the Lands and Natural Resource Ministry has extended the ban on all forms of small-scale mining for the third time. In January last year, government placed a initial ban for a period of 6 months following the widespread devastation of water resources and forest reserves as a result of illegal mining. The ban has been extended again because, according to the minister, small-scale miners have not met the set conditions given them before the ban will be lifted. Let's quickly go on to Skype now. We do have Dr. Eric Chum joining us on Skype for a discussion on this. Good evening, sir. Thank you. We're extremely grateful for your time. So, do you see the extension of the ban as appropriate, especially since the small-scale miners have constantly been asking government to lift the ban and rather focus on enforcing the country's mining laws?
Right, good evening, and to your cherished viewers and listeners. The news about the extension of the ban, of course, received with mixed feelings. The first has to do with the fact that the small-scale mining itself, and not Galamsey, employs over 1 million people in the country. And so you can sympathize with the issue about unemployment in the country and people basically not working in the industry. However, the very cause issue has not been addressed, and there were conditions set for the ban to be implemented. The first had to be the auditing of the mining licenses, the restoration of our water bodies, building the capacity of miners, and then also the issue about reclaiming these mine lands. At the moment, the percentage of success that has been chalked as a result of this ban has not been commendable. And so the decision to extend the ban, of course, we are aware of the interministerial committee that was set up by the president. We're also aware of the Parliament Select Committee on Lands and Natural Resources. So I'm sure you have taken them a lot of thinking to come to such a consensus or to make a decision of that nature. Because let's face it, we haven't costed the environmental impact of these Galamsey activities so well. On our health, it's devastating. The education, even in mining areas, we've not been able to put all this in terms of numbers. We can talk about the unemployment, we can talk about the loss of revenue, but the other implications of this activity, it's very devastating.
Doc, but there are those who say that using the strategy of bans have not been able to help the fight against Galamsey, and that possibly government should be thinking about reviewing the strategies. Is this something you agree with?
The issue about the review of the strategies, has come up for discussion a number of times, but from an expert point of view, I think the government is on track in dealing with the issues. There are political ramifications of this, but we needed the right leadership, and we have had it. We've gotten the political will to get it done. There are experts on the field reviewing this issue. Remember, the issue about Galamsey has been with us for a long time, and we do not expect quick fixes. It won't happen within a week, a month, or even years. It takes us a long time to fix it. And so the issue about reviewing the strategy is welcome. Of course, new ideas on how to deal with it is welcome, but I think the government is on track in trying to curb this menace.
But you wouldn't say that the government is clueless how to fix this problem permanently? I mean, because there are people who have legal licenses to operate. What about them? I mean, the blanket ban is affecting all of them, and they're complaining that they're losing capital and jobs are being lost as well. And we sit down and watch while bans are being enforced. I do recognize that we need to protect the environment, but are the bans not being too excessive?
You have hit the nail right on the head. The problem is, it is difficult separating the good ones from the bad ones. And so currently the mining licenses are being audited to have a clean slate. So yes, I sympathize with colleagues, friends, and experts within the small mining industry. But until we have pressed the restart button, which the government has done, we really need to go back to the drawing board and know exactly how we can get this done. Now, we have issues about enforcement and monitoring. We do not even have the capacity to even monitor this mining going on, illegal or small-scale miners going on. We need to have a system in place to ensure that the system works. If the system works, we can get everybody back to work. But until that is done, we'll just be going back and forth. I agree it is harsh, but it is something some would call a necessary evil.
Well, I like what you said, that we need to have in place systems that will make sure things work. But where do we start from? And moving forward, since this ban is on, it has been extended, there are still lots of jobs. We still also need to solve the problem of illegal mining. What other innovative approaches do you think government should be looking at way forward?
You see, the good thing about Ghana is that there are solutions are at our fingertips. We know exactly what needs to be done. Now, we've set ourselves in building the capacity of Ghanaians to do mining reclamation and to do monitoring. But the fundamental cause that drives a lot of people to small-scale mining or galamsey, which is unemployment, still exists. So the government needs to look at ways of providing alternative livelihood programs that will get people back to work. That be gold, diamond, or other natural resources. There are other forms of survival that people really need to. The natural tendency is that man must survive. That means we need to find an alternative way to deal with it. But that doesn't mean that we don't have jobs. That means we can go back to illegal mining. It's just like saying we don't have jobs, so I can rob. It is unacceptable. We have to work within the confines of the law.
Right. Dr. Eric Chum, we're grateful for your time. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Eric Chum there. And I am Stephen Enti. This is still News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Desawe Kanda in Accra. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has said the tariff reductions, which were to take effect on March 15, will actually take effect on April 1st.
Is it the case that this reduction should have affected the statutory payments that is in the price build-up that we pay for our electricity bills? That's the street lights, NHIL. Should it have been affected?
When the PULC put out the press statement, the letter that came was expressly clear that the reduction is only on energy charge. So it's very ingenious for anyone to think that that 17% will be part of statutory. Statutory reduction is done in Parliament and is not done by PULC. So the PULC reduction which they did is only on energy charge. Now, the reason this is very significant, and I find it very disingenuous when people try to play down the significant nature of that reduction. Their energy charge is what constitutes majority of your bill. If you decide to leave your air conditioning on or your kettle on or your microwave on, what you consume every minute, every hour is the energy charge. So when this amount is reduced, it goes a long way to reduce your final bill. Now, most of the statutory payments which we do is a percentage of your bill. If you are to do a percentage of 100 Ghana cedis, that percentage is higher than if you are to do a percentage of 82 cedis. So I find it very strange when people say that, well, the reduction is insignificant because the statutory payments are not affected. Every statutory payment you have, except the service charge, is a valerium calculation. So the Ghanaians should be mindful that the 17.5% being given to residential and 30% being given to non-residential is very significant.
That's actually an interview energy expert Kojo Poku had with my colleague Alfredo Kansi earlier on News 360 in connection with the tariff reductions. I'm Stephen Enti. This is still News at 10. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, the Shai Osudoku District Chief Executive Daniel Ekufu says plans are advanced to secure funding to rehabilitate the Bailey Bridge, which links Osukwari to Osuwim in the Shai Osudoku District. The bridge has been closed down for 3 weeks for maintenance works affecting economic activities.
Drivers will not dare cross the bridge, which has become a death trap, leaving commercial motor riders, popularly referred to as Okada, to have a field day. Okada operators are the only people who still risk their lives and use the bridge and charge high fares.
In case we are here now, somebody is sick seriously, there is no car to pick in and send it. Because night, the car can never pass the bushway and go and send the sickness to hospital at Akusi.
We use the bridge at our transport to anywhere in part of Ghana. We have no information. And the highway people came and closed the bridge that is getting broken. So they are coming to repair it. About 3 weeks now they closed the bridge, nothing is going on. So we are suffering.
But the Ghana Highway Authority says it is awaiting the release of funds to rehabilitate the bridge. District manager who made the disclosure said equipment had already been mobilized for the rehabilitation work. The district chief executive of Shai Osudoku, Daniel Ekufu, also disclosed arrangements have advanced to secure funds for the project.
This is the first time the whole bridge is being replaced. Let me apologize for the frustration associated with the reconstruction of the bridge, especially the diversion, which has increased travel hours in that part of the district. However, I want to assure you that on conclusion, it will certainly accelerate the local economic development of the people in the area.
The first rehabilitation work on the bridge was executed in 2007.
Let's go to Sierra Leone now. The citizens will have to wait longer to know their third president since the end of the civil war in 2002. The battle is squarely between the ruling All People's Congress's Samura Kamara and the main opposition Sierra Leone People's Party's Julius Maada Bio. Our correspondent Phoebe Swill brings us more from Freetown, Sierra Leone.
The Sierra Leone People's Party bags 43.3% of the presidential votes cast on March 7th. The All People's Congress takes the second spot with 42.7%, leaving SLPP's retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio with 14,734 extra votes against Dr. Samura Kamara. The National Electoral Commission finally makes the official declaration of a runoff between APC and SLPP scheduled for Tuesday, 27th March 2018. Are there forming alliances as was done in 2007? APC's Abubakar Darami responds.
Well, the All People's Congress Party is a party that believes to work with other people, believes to work with Sierra Leoneans, devoid of your religion, tribe, or where you come from, or what organization you come from. The All People's Congress Party is working with each and every organization, political parties, even people from the SLPP, because we know that vote is about numbers. And we are ready to work with each and every person because it is not about the All People's Congress, it is about the people of Sierra Leone. It is about the future of this country. This election is a defining election for Sierra Leone. So we are working with everybody across the board, all Sierra Leoneans across the board, because this election is about two individuals. It's about the record of Dr. Samura Kamara and Julius Maada Bio. So we are putting the records of Dr. Samura Kamara up to see the things that he has done, where he has worked, and how competent and capable he is to move this country to the next level.
In a recent meeting held amongst SLPP supporters, some Coalition for Change members were seen in attendance in their T-shirts, throwing their support for the SLPP. Attempts to talk to SLPP on their preparations for the runoff proved futile at this point. Phoebe Swill reporting from Freetown, Sierra Leone.
And that's how we wrap up with News at 10. I'm Stephen Enti. Thank you extremely for making time. On behalf of the crew, good night. There is more news at 3news.com. And up next is Sports Unlimited.